What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. Today we're going to be making yet another evolution competitively viable in singles battles, Jolteon. Ever since I made my Leafeon video and I went up against that untrained Jolteon and managed to outspeed it with a Leafeon, I knew I had to do Jolteon next. I wasn't about to let people think that Jolteon is a bad Pokemon competitively. It's actually probably one of the best evolutions you can use in battle. So today I will be redeeming its honor. And just to prove how confident I am in Jolteon, I'm actually going to be using it in ranked battles. My previous videos with the not so competitively viable EVs were in casual battles, which was one of people's biggest complaints. So this time we're getting serious. So if you're interested in seeing how I make Jolteon competitively viable in singles battles, then just keep on watching. And if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe because it helps you grow out, and give this video a thumbs up so that we can push it out into the YouTube algorithm so that more Pokemon fans can see it. And if you would like another way to support the channel, please feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But let's go ahead and make Jolteon good. First things first, let's go ahead and go over the build that I gave Jolteon in order to give it a fighting chance. Also, shout out to its nickname. One of my Twitch subs named it, since it happens to be their favorite Pokemon. But Jolteon's strongest stat is its speed, which is basically what it's known for. It has a speed stat of 130, so it's a very fast Pokemon. And it also has a really good special attack stat of 110. However, unfortunately, it has a defense stat of 60, so it's not physically bulky at all, it's very frail, and a special defense stat of 95, which is a little bit better, but overall, Jolteon is kind of a glass cannon. It's meant to hit fast and hit hard. So I'm sorry to say that it's definitely not going to be able to be an entire team sweeper, but it is going to play a crucial part in the strategy. And so this is the build that I gave it to take advantage of its speed and its special attack. For starters, I gave mine a focus sash. I also dabbled in using a life orb on it just to see which one I liked better. I also, of course, went ahead and maxed out its speed and its special attack since, like I said, this thing is definitely going to be a glass cannon, so I want it to hit as fast and as hard as possible. I also went ahead and gave Jolteon the Volt Absorb ability, which in the unlikely chance that it does get hit by an electric type move, instead of taking damage, it'll actually heal Jolteon. And the moveset that I decided to go with was Thunderbolt, Terra Blast, Volt Switch, and Shadow Ball. I gave it Thunderbolt because 1, it's more reliable than Thunder, and since Jolteon is frail, I don't want to risk missing with Thunder. I gave it Terra Blast because I actually gave Jolteon the Ice Terra type. That way I can effectively deal with any Dragon types that I might run into in the ranked battles. I gave it Volt Switch in case I need to switch out, and Shadow Ball for coverage. And I went with this moveset for 2 reasons. Number 1, I intended to use Jolteon as a scout, meaning I would open with Jolteon to see what my opponent opened with, and then take the appropriate action from there. The second reason was to deal with any Dragon types, and both of these reasons kind of work in tandem, because from what I found by doing ranked battles is that a lot of people actually open with the Dragon type. Oftentimes it's a Garchomp or a Dragonite. And so if that's the case, if my opponent does open with the Dragon type, I can then immediately Terrastalize, and since I've maxed out my speed, and I've given Jolteon a timid nature, I should be able to outspeed them and then hit them with a Terra Blast. In the other scenario where my opponent doesn't lead off with a Dragon type or something that I'd be able to knock out with an electric type move, I can then Volt Switch out and swap into a better option. But like I always say, everything sounds great on paper, but let's go ahead and test it in battle. Alright, time to put Jolteon to the test and see if it can hold its own in ranked battles. Like I said, I don't see it being a sweeper whatsoever, but it's gonna do its job and it's gonna do it well. And it looks like my opponent is starting off with a Meowscarada, so I should be good in this situation. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and go for the immediate Terrastalization just so I can hit it with a Terra Blast, because I want to take this thing out as fast as possible because Meowscarada is definitely a threat, and hopefully I can outspeed it. Even if I don't outspeed it though, I am sashed in this battle, so it shouldn't be able to one-hit KO me. Alright, I have my ice typing. Let's see who hits first. It's me! I was able to outspeed it, so I should be able to one-hit KO it then. Okay, fair enough. It looks like they have their Meowscarada sash, so they are gonna be able to get a hit on me, but I'm sashed as well, so I'm not concerned. Hitting me with a Flower Trick. It's gonna crit me, obviously, but we held on, we're fine. So one more Terra Blast should be able to take it out if they don't switch, so I'm hoping they don't switch. All right, here goes my last Terra Blast. And there goes Meowscarada. Okay, so one of the biggest threats on their team is out of the battle, so I can breathe a little easier now. Okay, looks like they're sending in Skeledirge, another starter. Okay, we love to see it. We love the starters. So I'm gonna go ahead and Volt Switch out of here because there's really not too much I can do against a Skeledirge. But Jolteon definitely did its job. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and send in Palafin just so that I can get rid of Skeledirge because this thing hits hard too. Okay, it's hitting me with a Torch Song. I should be fine. Yep. It definitely did a good chunk of damage though. So in this case, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Jet Punch just to knock it out. All right, Skeledirge is taken care of. And let's see what their third is. All right, so their last Pokemon is Corviknight, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for the hard switch here and just put in Belly Bolt. I don't wanna put in Jolteon because if I hard switch into Jolteon, then it's just gonna go ahead and get knocked out. And I do have my Palafin banded, so I can't flip turn out of there and save a turn. So I have no choice but to hard switch. Okay. Well, that's not ideal, but it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Discharge, and hopefully I can survive this next hit. All right, we're good. Belly Bolt's definitely my little tank, and that helps me out because it charged up my electric attack. And there goes Corviknight. And there you have it. Jolteon definitely did its job in that one. I did want to also quickly show Jolteon using a Life Orb just so you can see that this little guy can actually pack a serious punch. And this is actually the perfect situation because they started off with Palafin. So number one, I should be able to outspeed it. And number two, because of my Life Orb and because of typing, I should be able to one-hit KO it with one Thunderbolt. And I am correct. There goes Palafin. We have already knocked out one of the biggest threats. All right, so let's see what we're up against next here, and it's Umbreon. Okay, Jolteon definitely cannot take out Umbreon, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Volt Switch out of here. This should do a good amount of damage too, just because I do have a Life Orb. Yeah, that did quite a bit of damage for a Volt Switch. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and send in Meowscarada so I can hit it with a Play Rough and hopefully take it out because Umbreon is annoyingly bulky. Ah, it did use Yawn. It's fine. One Play Rough should be able to take it out. So I should be able to take it out before I fall asleep. And you see, they put leftovers on it. This thing is so annoying. All right, let's hit it with a Play Rough. And it looks like, yep, that was enough. Okay, so now the bulky, annoying one is out of the picture. So let's see what we end up going up against as the last Pokemon. And depending on what they send out, that's gonna determine who I send in next, because obviously Meowscarada's asleep. Volcarona, they're trying to light my cat on fire. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and send in Palafin. Okay, it did use Quiver Dance, so that's not ideal. Obviously they're trying to set up. So I think in this case, I have a couple of options. So I can either flip turn out of here, I can Jet Punch to try to take it out ASAP, but this is also banking on the fact that they don't terrestrialize into a grass type, which I feel like every Volcarona does. So I think I'm just going to switch into Meowscarada and let it take the hit. It's asleep anyway. This is probably not a good idea. This might not be my smartest play, but we're gonna go for it. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, they're hitting me with a Bug Buzz. Interesting choice. Okay, all right. Well, I'm asleep, so that's fine. I mean, I hung on with my sash, but whatever. It doesn't really matter what I use. I'm definitely gonna be asleep for the duration of however long I manage to stay alive for, so I'm just gonna hit whatever. Oh, I'm letting this thing set up. I told you this is probably not my smartest move, but I think we can still come back from this. I'm just gonna keep Meowscarada in because I'm asleep anyway, so I'm just gonna let it take the hit. It keeps using Bug Buzz. That's very interesting to me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and send in Palafin. I don't see them terrestrializing, so I feel like Palafin might be the way to go. And I'm gonna go for the Jet Punch here and see if I can just one-hit KO it, because if they were gonna terrestrialize, they would have done it by now, right? I'm gonna go ahead and terrestrialize myself as well, just so I can make sure that I take it out. This could go horribly wrong if they do end up terrestrializing. Oh, it looks like they didn't terrestrialize. Okay, this should knock it out, honestly. There it is. We've won! And Jolteon did its job in this battle as well. So final thoughts, can Jolteon be made competitively viable? Absolutely, if used correctly. You cannot make Jolteon the star of the show. It will not be the hero of the battle, at least not majority of the time. But if you use it correctly as something that can hit fast and hit hard and easily and quickly switch out of a bad situation, then you are definitely setting yourself up for success. As much as I would have loved to show you a Jolteon sweep, it's just not what it's built for. It's much too frail. But in both of those battles, you were able to see that I took out some pretty big threats, and without basically breaking a sweat. And keep in mind, I didn't build a team around this Jolteon. I just threw it on my playthrough team. So it's not like I planned anything. I just said sink or swim. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And of course, if you have any suggestions on how to make Jolteon better, I would love to hear those as well. But hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.